Hey everybody, Diamond Vape back with you to do something that I really hate to do, and uh, and took a little time before I decided to go ahead and do this, and um, but it's something that needed to be done. To me, I think so anyway. Um, and that is do a follow up on a review that I did. Actually, it was my last review on the VapeMate from Super T Manufacturing. Since that review, and I think I maybe jumped the gun a little bit when I posted that review, because I hadn't had it, I think about 4 days, and it was working flawlessly. It was working perfect. But I made some error in judgment on a few things that I said that I've talked about in the review, and I used the word flawless, and at the time it was working flawlessly. But since that review, since that video, since I posted that thing a couple days after, I then started having nothing but trouble. Although I've got it working, but it was something that I shouldn't have had to do. You seen at the opening of the of this review where I was taking a drag or a draw off of it and blowing out. It still works. I still use it. I still like it. But the problem I started having with it, as I stated in the last review, that it will work either way, with or without the tube, and why I preferred the tube. Well, it started to constantly feed over into my Addy, flooding it continuously. I had my buddy J-Vape to watch it as I took a toot off of it, and the whole time I took a normal draw, normal toot, it just flooded and kept flooding into the Addy, and just and every time it done it, and eventually it started. It was doing it so regularly that it was starting to run into my rough stack, filling up the top part of it, the cap where the switch is housed, and then dripping down into the mod, the tube part itself, and then getting on my battery, and it was getting worse and worse. Thank God my rough stack is still working as of now. But I tried to the friend of mine that sent me this. I got in touch with the guy from Super T Manufacturing, and he really didn't impress me with what the answers or whatever that we got back on it. So I tried shortening the tube that went in it. I tried to reposition the tube, tried to make it longer, or slanted it, which I already had anyway. Still, whatever I did to it, it was just kept on flooding the Addy every single time. So I eventually removed the tube, and of course that solved that issue. But it was something that I shouldn't have to do. That I shouldn't have to go through that to get a good vape, or for the product to work. Since then, since I've done that, of course it works. Just have to turn it upside down to feed the Addy. Not inconvenient, but it shouldn't have to be. Second problem that I had was I stated, I stated where it could leak around the edge here and get on your bottle, and I said it wasn't doing it enough to warrant using the O-ring. And then I stated in that last review, and dull moment I guess, where when you use the O-ring, it goes up inside the VapeMate, not around it. I don't know, that just try to skip that portion of the review, but it goes up in it. So I decided, okay, well, since I'm having this leaking issue, I couldn't lay it down. If I put it on my ego, it was just getting all over it. So I installed the O-ring. Didn't help at all. Still kept leaking around it, and no matter what I did, I cleaned it and put it back, still leaked. So I decided to change the bottle, because it comes with 2 bottles, although the friend of mine sent me some extra ones. But put the new bottle in it, no problem. Hadn't leaked since. But that told me that bottle didn't last me but a week. Way pricey, $59.99. And I stated in my last review, $59.99, the VapeMate. You get the VapeMate in 2 bottles. Would I buy that? Would I pay that money? And I said, yes, I would. Well, no, I wouldn't, as of what I had to do now. and then some of the response that I got back. You know, it's a good idea. You know, and for those who's watching that's got this thing and it's working great. But for those who might have it or thinking about getting it, you know, my opinion on it, $59.99 or $59.95 is just way too pricey for something you got to fiddle with and have that kind of problem with. Luckily, like I said, it hadn't ruined my mod yet. Don't know what the outcome later, but I did clean it. Had to do it a couple times before I finally just gave up on that tube and done away with it completely. Tried it again later on a new bottle and all that setup deal, and it continued to do it. So, you know, I just done away. And not that I don't still like it, because I still use it. I don't have that leaking issue. Now, I still got the O-ring up in the VapeMate itself, and got the new bottle, and it's not leaking around it anymore. And I done away with the tube, so it's not flooding into the addy like it did before. But I felt like I had to get this out there to anybody who might be watching, who watched my last review, where I just, you know, praised this thing to no end. But you know, after having it a few more days, and now over a week, more so than a week and a half, but the problems that I had with this thing. But I wanted to let you know that, to get it out there. I want to be upfront and honest in all my reviews, and you know, if it comes up and something, you know, I might need to take another little week or two before I throw a review out on something, to give it full time to see if any problems arise. But I was super stoked on this thing, and I felt like it needed to get out there, and jumped the gun a little bit. So I apologize, but it's the VapeMate from Super T Manufacturing, $59.95. Gets you the VapeMate in 2 bottles. Would I buy it? Nope, I wouldn't. I wouldn't spend that kind of money on it to get the problems that I had. So anyway, that's my revisit or recall of the VapeMate and the follow-up on it. So although I still use it, and I still kind of like it because I do like the dripping effect that I get, I would not pay $59.95 for it. Wouldn't suggest paying $59.95 for it, but you know, I'll leave that up to you guys. If y'all know any solutions, feel free to let me know, as a PM me or whatever, and I'll be glad to check into it. But for now, the solution that I got: do away with the tube, put the new bottle with the O-ring, and all's done. Excuse me. Anyway, that's all I got. Appreciate you watching. Let me get one more quick toot before we say goodbye. Still gives you quality performance. But anyway, hey, whatever keeps you off cigarettes, that's the perfect device to use. And whatever you like that's working for you, keep it going. Anyway, hey, I appreciate you watching. Thanks.